Hey guys, it is seriously like almost the middle of April and I can't believe it. Like March seriously like flew by and now we're almost halfway through April. I'm super excited because school is almost out and we're getting ready to move, and so things have been like super busy and very stressful. This deployment, if I'm honest, has been the hardest deployment I have done. Um, when my husband was getting ready to deploy, I seriously wasn't like super stressed. I wasn't like super nervous or anything. And it has seriously been the most stressful time. Like, I have been really stressed. And so I thought, what better tip to give than how to combat stress without using medication? And sometimes, guys, medication is actually like really needed. But there are ways to combat stress. Like, jumping to medication is not always the best option. And sometimes I feel like, I have found like with kids and stuff, like teachers are like, yes, they're ADHD because they want to like medicate all these kids. And not all teachers are like that. So don't get me wrong. But I have had personal experience. And I was like, what? Like, my daughter is not attention deficit hyperactivity. Like, I was just like floored. I was like, what are you talking about? But stress and anxiety, we all know, can be treated with medication and or therapy. And don't get me wrong, I see a therapist every other week. It's good for you. It's actually, there's a reason that they call it therapy. It's therapeutic. It's very helpful. But there are other ways to do it because a lot of that stuff is, time consuming. It costs money. And so a lot of people put that kind of stuff off. So how do you combat stress without medication? The first tip that I have is to pay attention to the present. Like, be in the moment. Be in the moment. Most people that when they are stressed, they actually find themselves lost in thought. Your mind starts spiraling and it goes away. And you're like looking to the future instead of like focusing on what's going on here and now. And like, honestly, like, it's so true. You have to be like, pay attention to what's going on right now. Be in the moment. What's going on right now that you can, focus on instead of focusing on what could be and the dreadful scenarios that your head plays out. Because I know a lot of you that has happened to, right? So when you start feeling yourself like kind of getting in that lost and looking to the future and, oh my gosh, this could happen and this could happen, feel the ground beneath your feet. Like, just stand there. Go outside and smell the fresh air. Feel the breeze on your face. Notice the flowers are blooming. It's spring. And like, granted, some of you are probably dealing with snow right now. And so that's going out and seeing the, flowers blooming probably isn't going to happen. But smell the coffee and the donuts. Listen to the laughter and the voices around you. Like, watch your kids and laugh and be in the moment. Watch them being silly. Watch them do funny things. My boys are all into like these new dance moves that are, and I watch them and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they love doing the floss. They just stand there and they floss. And I don't even understand that move, but they do it and they love it. And I love watching the smile on their face. So these, tips are going to help you avoid looking to the what could be, what if, and focusing on what is going on right now. So my next tip is to cuddle a pet. Research has actually shown that repeatedly stroking a fussy cat or dog actually calms the nervous system and slows the heart rate. So cuddle your pet. I'm allergic to cats, like highly allergic to cats, and I'm allergic to dogs. But if you have a pet, cuddle your pet and watch your stress decrease. The next one is breathe properly. When stressed, you've probably noticed that you like breathe really quick and shallow, and oftentimes you're breathing through your mouth. So instead, put your shoulders up, back down, and breathe slowly and deeply. And I actually have on my Apple Watch, guys, a thing that tells me to breathe. And like, it can tell when I'm like, and it'll like notify me like by buzzing. And it's like, time to breathe. And it like literally like you're like inhale, exhale. And it actually brings you down to like a normal breathing tempo, which is very good for you. You can also do yoga, because in yoga you do have to use breathing mechanisms, and yoga is a great relaxer. Phone a friend. You know, I do this on the regular, and sometimes like I did it today because funny enough, like I went to look at my bank account and I got charged for something, and I was like, but I canceled, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I'm looking and I'm like, I don't even want this stuff. And it was a subscription I had done to HelloFresh, but I found that it just didn't work for my family, and it's like really expensive. But I liked that, like, it gave me the meal and like all the ingredients and the recipe, and it was fun, but I was like, I need to cancel this because it's not worthwhile to me. And then I noticed they charged me, and I was like, and then I thought, well, maybe I canceled wrong, and I didn't like skip a week, and then I canceled too late, but that wasn't the case at all. And I was stressing out because it was a lot of money. But I called the company and, you know, worked it out. And then I called my friend to like, you know, help me calm down. I've done it several times. Like I said, guys, this deployment has been so stressful, and I call my friend because they are not in the situation. So they have a tendency to be able to bring you back down to earth, basically, even if it's just to listen to you vent and say, I'm here for you. That alone is the biggest stress reliever, in my opinion. Having somebody say, I feel you, I understand, and I'm here for you. Do something creative. You know, get out, you know, they have those cool books now that like have all the like cool picture with like all the little spaces in it, and they have the colored pens that go with the book, and you can color. Coloring is like one of the most relaxing activities to do that will really bring your stress down. And that's, you know, that's key. It might sound childish, but honestly, coloring, like, adults color. I have friends on my Facebook newsfeed that color, and I think it's amazing. You know, you can always try knitting. Something that is like so not really mind numbing, but it actually centers you to bring you down to a calmer mood. So playing games, you know, playing Go Fish with your kids, or I played Battleship. There was one day it was like family day, like no friends, no, we watched movies, we played board games, we played Battleship, we played Mexican Train Dominoes, we played, what else did we play? Phase 10, and that's like super fun, but those games will actually, calm your mind and link you back to a time when you were young and carefree. Who doesn't want to do that? I know I do. The next one is to like write down everything that's worrying you. Keep a journal. Don't worry about, you know, making sure that punctuation's right and your sentence sounds good. Just write it down. That to me is very similar to calling a friend. You get it out. And sometimes that's all you need to do is get it out. And then you're like, whew, I'm good. So, you know, you can write down everything that's worrying you, Take a second sheet of paper and put a vertical line down the middle. In one column, write down all the things you can alter. So anything that you can change. And on the right, the things that you cannot. Then make a pledge to yourself to change what you can and let go of what you cannot. How brilliant is that? Number 9, be careful what you eat. A lot of times when we're stressed, we reach for that bucket of ice cream, those potato chips, that bar of chocolate, the alcohol. I love wine. And the other day, Monday was a very stressful day for me. I had to take my one son to the doctor because he bruised his hand really bad. And I was like, is it broke? He's having a hard time bending it, and just said that it hurt so bad. And my other son, as I'm getting ready to take my one son to the doctor, the nurse calls and my other son has to come back. I have to go pick him up because he's throwing up at school. So I go pick him up and he ends up puking at the doctor's office as I'm being called back with my other son. I mean, you talk about like a moment where you're just like, and you're only one person, and I could only go one direction. I couldn't be split in two. So, I was like, I need wine. I didn't even have any wine that night. I did not have one glass of wine that night. But a lot of times that's what we do, but that's actually bad for your mood. Sorry. It makes you actually like really moody and irritable. So instead of reaching for those sugary drinks, sugary foods, try foods rich in tryptophan, like turkey and cottage cheese. But the ideal snack for anxiety is a banana. Who knew? My last tip is to go into a mindful state. Thoughts fuel anxiety. It goes back to the first tip that I gave you about being present, being in the moment. When you start like letting your mind wander about what if, what could be, all of those like disaster, everything that could go wrong is gonna go wrong type scenarios. Thoughts, guys, are not facts. Thoughts are not facts. So mindfulness actually teaches us to observe your thoughts instead of allowing them to sweep you away. So your consciousness is similar to the sky, and it's clear and it's empty, while your thoughts are like the clouds that pass across. They come and they go. Sometimes they're light, sometimes they're fluffy, sometimes they're heavy and dense. Okay? So you have to be mindful and really make sure that your thoughts are not consuming you, because remember, thoughts are not facts. There are no simple answers to modern stress that a lot of us are under. I think more people are under stress than people realize. And no solution is final. So, try any of these tips that I've given you and you might be surprised. One tip that I will talk about that I do just for mood regulation and to really keep my stress level so that it doesn't go completely crazy and I feel like I'm losing control is to work out. Guys, honestly, working out is like the most underused drug there is. It's an antidepressant, it's a mood regulator, it releases endorphins that have built up, all of that. And so, even if you just go for a walk, that will help you in whatever it is that you are stressing about. So I hope that these tips were helpful. If they were, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. And I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye.